You've probably heard that getting a high ROAS on cold traffic with meta ads is really hard to do, but I was able to get a 6.23x return on ad spend in just 30 days with almost all cold traffic. So if you haven't heard of me before, my name is Adam Matthews and I run an e-commerce growth agency called AQM that essentially partners with 6 to 8 figure direct consumer brands. And right now we're actually hiring for a paid social strategist. So if you love ads, you love marketing, you love all this sort of stuff, and you're located in North America, then check the description below on basically how to apply and also more details on the job. So I'm going to go ahead and cover 3 main takeaways as to how I was able to achieve such a high ROAS so that you can basically take this info and start applying it right away. So takeaway number 1 is in-depth audience research. So basically whenever we're starting off with a brand, we always want to make sure we do a lot of in-depth audience research to find those pockets of audiences that are really, really profitable. And then you can also stack those together in order to, basically reach more scale essentially. And then when you're doing mid 7 figures or 8 figures, that's where you can go a lot more broad because you basically have so much customer data and Meta just knows exactly what to do with targeting. That's honestly what we've seen work best on our end. I know other people like to go a lot more broad really early. We've just found it just a lot more profitable, especially in the early days. You have less data. For this brand in particular, they were doing around 50K a month. So how do we go ahead and do that? Basically, we have like 3 ways of doing our audience research. 1 is we use like the suggestions tool on Meta. 2 is we use Google to basically research different brands that are in the niche, different magazines. And then 3 is what we do is we go find the buyers on their Instagram, or if you got an Instagram that doesn't really have too many buyers and too much engagement, you can actually go on competitors as well and do the research this way. But essentially what we do is we go ahead and find all the buyers, and the way we find them, we go through all the posts, find all the comments, and anyone that's basically signaled that they're a buyer, love this product or asking about tracking or anything of that nature. And then basically once we find the buyers, we basically dig through their profiles. So 1, we'll check their bio. Some people will literally tell their whole life story in their bio. 2 is we'll go through all their basically posts on their feed. That way we can see basically what they post about, what brands they're wearing, what interests they have, all this sort of stuff. And the last thing we do is we actually go in the followers tab. So basically who each buyer is following. And then from there, it's just basically you can literally get to see exactly which the buyers are following. And basically when we have this strategy, the resonance is just extremely high. At the end of the day, they're literally all buyers. So we're able to find exactly and pinpoint who's buying, and that's how we kind of go about it. And for this brand in particular, what we found, even though it's kind of like a beauty kind of lashes type product, etc., they actually weren't really super passionate beauty people that are following all the big brands and all that kind of stuff. They're more just kind of into beauty, kind of into makeup, all that kind of stuff, but not really. They just want kind of a convenient solution for it. And so we actually found more broad interests, and some of them were kind of interesting. We're like parenting stack, so basically targeting moms essentially, and then also targeting, a lot of them were like dog owners, so we actually targeted dog food and flexed that with beauty. That absolutely killed it. And then one of the winning interests that we had a couple of the people following was like L'Oreal, which is kind of like a more broad beauty brand. Some of these interests that we wouldn't have really thought of off the top just absolutely killed it, and we're extremely profitable. Now takeaway number 2, we created a bunch of scroll stopping statics. And basically what it means is basically just photo ads that are edited and with different angles. So when we basically started off, what we wanted to do is we wanted to basically create a bunch of different angles and different frameworks. And what I mean by this is, one could be like a core benefit. So it's basically where you have like the main benefit of your product brand. Another one could be kind of a review or basically mention of press. That could be another one. Another one's kind of a listicle where you basically have the product in the middle, and then you basically have all the benefits around it. Another one could be like an us versus them. That's where you basically compare your product, all the benefits of it, and then basically competitors, and then all, like basically kind of the downsides of them. So for example, for this brand, they basically have like, they kind of sell like lashes kits and stuff like that. So what we did, we instead of comparing to other brands, what we did is we actually compared our lashes solution, basically instead of going towards and comparing it to like lash salons and getting that done like that. And the last one is also offer discount, buy one get one free, just having maybe just some sort of discount on the top of funnel. You can also do that. And then actually honestly, there's actually many you could do. Another ones we've been experimenting with is like kind of like split screen ads. So that's actually where you have like the product shot on the left and then almost like a lifestyle shot on the right, or vice versa, top and bottom, etc. So you're kind of showing both. Another one is actually what we've been experimenting with is like a tweet ad. So we have a couple of brands that are actually doing pretty well on Twitter, actually, funny enough. And so what we do is we actually grab like kind of an organic tweet essentially from someone who basically tweeted about the brand or the product, etc. And then we grab that, we edit it, and then it almost just looks so organic. then they see it on their Instagram or Facebook, and it just looks so organic and actually works really, really well. So basically what we want to do is we want to create a bunch of different angles and frameworks to start off. And then basically what we do is we find the ones that work the best and we double down on it. So in this case, what we found works best for this brand is actually in the listicle style, where basically we had the product in the middle and then there was a bunch of the main 4 benefits of the product around it. Absolutely killed it. Did really, really well. So I'd really encourage you to go ahead and test out statics for your brand. I'd always recommend, testing statics as an ad format, because it does really, really well and you could do a lot of different angles with it. So now the third and final takeaway, creating high converting landing pages. Now basically what we did is we created 3 different versions, and all we changed was the headline on the top. So we basically create these listicle style landing pages where where you've seen me talk about it, where it's like the 5 reasons why people are obsessed with X product. And basically what we do is we create 3 different headlines, and the key that we've been finding with the headlines is you really want to keep it super simple and not try to make it sound super fancy or complex. And then what you want to do, try essentially 3 different angles. We like to basically mention first things first of why they're switching from maybe a competitor or another solution to using your solution. Another one is we always say something like discover why this product is going viral on social media. We've been seeing that headline do really, really well. Super straightforward, super simple. Another one we can mention is discover why tens of thousands or customers are obsessed with it. So kind of linking in anything of that nature, kind of like the social proof angle. So essentially what you want to do is you want to have 3 distinct different angles, keep it very simple and clear. And then basically when you're writing your listicle, you want to basically have all of the reasons really linked back to exactly why they're buying in their language, and basically prioritizing like the most important things first, and then going all the way down, and then basically just having very great photos and imagery and design. We actually had one landing page, it got basically about a 4.5x, and the other one got a 0.5 ROAS on like a decent amount of spend, nothing crazy, and it goes to show that literally just changing the headline makes a huge impact. In terms of how we went ahead and split tested these, what we like to do is we like to grab the highest performing audience, or a couple of them, and then we basically create an ad set. So we basically do, if we're split testing 3, we'd create 3 ad sets, and then basically have the best ad and then basically the best audience, and that way you can basically force spend to each one, and they all get a certain amount of spend to each one. Otherwise, if you just let Meta kind of dictate how much spend each landing page gets, it's not as good of a clean of a split test to know exactly which one works. So phenomenal results, and I would absolutely implore you to give this a try on your brand as well.